it is embedded in the hardwood. Oakley is a blue-collar man, a tenacious worker. Right now, a closer look at the Oak Man. Even with the mask, you can't masquerade as Charles Oakley because there's no one quite like him. And simply said, his work ethic is second to none. The Knicks co-captain knows how to get the job done. He's not pretty, not flashy, and doesn't ask for help. He believes in getting things done the old-fashioned way, by earning it. The Oak Man contributes to the Knicks attack in a number of ways, but mostly by just taking care of business.
The Knicks organization, the coaching staff, whoever, know what I bring to the table every night, whatever, knowing how I come to play the game. I come to play the game like the game should be played. I don't take no shorts. I don't respect nobody on the court but my teammates, and that's how I come to the game. If you're in my way, I got to go through you.
In the Knicks season of inconsistency, Oakley has been consistent. His scoring average is up 5 points over last year, and that's just one area where Charles contributes to the attack because it's in his passing, his defense, his leadership, where the Oak Man proves he's a team man. Oakley's effort and excellence don't go unnoticed. Just ask one of his biggest fans.
Charles is having what I think to be just a banner year thus far. He understands his role probably better than anybody else on the team, and he works the game of basketball. It isn't a game that he comes just to play every night. He works the boards, he works the defense, he helps. He's passing the ball to open men, he's hitting timely shots.
Compliments like that's really great. I think that every night on the court I try to come out and give my best. You know, diving, taking charge, or whatever, to help my team win. It's just a plus.
On the court, Oakley is always focused, always intense, and always growling. He grimaces but never smiles, snickers but never laughs. It's not that he's unhappy, but for Oakley, basketball is no joking matter.
People say I'm moody, but, you know, people who probably said it don't know me because they probably seen me where I don't go around smiling a lot. I never smile a lot. You know, I'm acting. It's a job, you know. You see a lot of guys smiling during the game, and this and that just for cameras. I don't front myself.
Charles Oakley is the consummate professional. He believes in sacrificing individual statistics for the good of the team. He understands why submerging his ego will pay dividends down the road. In this his 6th season in New York, Oakley continues to do a little bit of everything. Continues to take care of business. Charles Oakley is first in the league in a very unofficial category, Al. Floor burns.
Yes, he is. Little BTO at MSG.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll hear from Derek Harper, who has just made his way onto the garden floor. The Knicks and the Blazers. It reminds us of a game 5 years ago in Portland. Early on, it looked like it was all Portland. Clyde Drexler with a hoop and a foul. Portland up 20. For him, a 48-point game. Rick Pitino plotted a comeback plan, and it worked. In the final seconds of the third quarter, Rod Strickland taps in his own miss to complete an 18-6 run by the Knicks, and the Blazers led by only 2 after 3. Then with under 3 minutes to go, Charles Oakley up with a steal to Mark Jackson to Gerald Wilkins. The Knicks take their first lead, 114-113. Mike Schuler trying to encourage his team, but Terry Porter misses on the three-pointer that would have tied the game. The Knicks hit a foul shot and run out the clock as they come from behind for Rick Pitino after trailing by 20 in the second half to win it 120-116 in enemy territory. From 5 years ago to the story of tonight, I had a conversation with Derek Harper a few minutes ago, and our conversation began with the talks of his arrangement with the owner, Don Carter, to trade him.
Derek, what was the arrangement you had with Donald Carter? What did it come down to?
Well, basically, went in and talked to Mr. Carter just about the possibility of being moved. You know, I realize that they're rebuilding for the future and everything, and you know, when they're a good basketball team, I don't think I'm gonna be in the league or what have you. So I just thought it would be wise for me to go in and have a conversation with him about possibly moving me, and fortunately for me, he obliged and gave me this opportunity.
That was obvious. We watched you on the sidelines with your coach. The team wasn't winning. It was a bad situation. Yet you were brought to tears when you said goodbye to Dallas. What happened there?
Well, I've spent a third of my life in Dallas, and I've made a lot of good friends and done a lot of positive things and really got a lot out of Dallas. Dallas gave me my start, basically. And I think anytime you go through those things and you have to leave, it's gonna hurt a little bit. I also left my family behind, and that's going to be a tough adjustment for me. So just a combination of all those things really made it a tough situation for me.
In terms of team commitment and what the goal is for the season, you've gone totally opposite ends of the spectrum here from Dallas to New York. I know you read Pat Riley's book. What did you get out of that you know is going to lie ahead for you?
Well, I didn't read all of the book. I'm reading the book right now. And I think the main thing that I've got out of is that it's not about me. It's about the team. And I think anytime you have that concept, you give yourself an opportunity to win. You know, in Dallas, I think we always, it was more an individual thing. And here it's all about winning.
You probably thought back to your childhood and things that you thought about growing up when you walked into the Garden as a Knick tonight for the first time and saw Walt Frazier's banner up there. Did that cross your mind at all?
Oh, I did. I'm a big Walt Frazier fan. He was my childhood idol or what have you. And it's a good opportunity to be around such a tradition in Walt Frazier and the Garden.
Well, welcome to the Knicks, and good luck in your debut tonight.
Thank you much.
That'll do it for our on-the-court version of Knicks Game Night. Bob Page is at the sports desk. When we come back, Marv and John with our game coverage 7 minutes away.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob Page back in our Sports Desk studios. Not much news today in the NBA, but the Phoenix Suns announced just a few moments ago that they have had to place Charles Oakley on the injured list due to a strained quadricep he suffered Friday night at Minneapolis, so he'll miss at least 5 games, and the Suns have activated Cedric Ceballos. Last night, the ex-Hackensack High School star and former czar of the telestrator, as Marv would say, Mike Fratello, returned to Atlanta as a head coach for the first time since he left the Hawks a few years ago. Ironic that Brooklyn native Lenny Wilkins now coaches Atlanta and was facing his former team, Cleveland. How'd the brother matchup go? First half, ex-Knick Gerald Wilkins hits that jumper to help the Cavs to a 50-45 lead at intermission. He finished with 19 points. Second half action, John Koncak makes a save to Kevin Willis to ex-Net Mookie Blaylock, 2-on-1. Dominique Wilkins finishes with a jam. That was the Wilkins who was the difference in this one. Now Neek drains a three-pointer as the Hawks begin to pull away. 22 of his game-high 30 points came in the second half. Hawks won their 5th straight. Atlanta, after that 1-4 start, has gone 21-3. How awful are the Celtics? Well, everybody knew that this would be a rebuilding year for Boston, but last night's loss at Minneapolis to the lowly T-Wolves dropped them to 13-20. And Minnesota followers did not even have the services of Christian Laettner, who missed his 2nd straight game with a hip injury. 7-foot Australian Luke Longley's played well of late. That baseline move on over-the-hill Robert Parrish en route to 13 points and 11 rebounds. Former Syracuse star Sherman Douglas did his best, finishing with 24 points and 9 assists. Nice pass to D. Brown, but Chris Ford saw the Celts score just 36 points in the first half. Sidney Lowe and company led 45-36, then started 6-0 in the third quarter. Michael Williams later gets this lay-in. He finished with 15 points and 11 assists, leading 7 Minnesota players in double figures. Celtics have now lost 10 of their last 12. Ugh. Is anybody really surprised that Michael Jordan is attacking the game of baseball with such passion, working out of the batting cages under the stands at Comiskey Park every day? It was obvious that Jordan would miss the competition of the NBA, and from his golf exploits, we know that he has an addictive personality, hence his complete absorption in baseball. But Jordan is no dummy. Even though he has a huge ego, I cannot believe that Michael really feels he is good enough to try out with the White Sox this spring, as has been reported. Hitting a pitch baseball still may be the most difficult thing in all of sports to do. How a 31-year-old guy is going to face Randy Johnson is beyond belief. Now, stay tuned for Knicks basketball next on MSG.
New York Knicks Game Night has been brought to you by the New York Times. To keep up with the sports in New York, keep up with the Times. 80s. However,
Playing brilliantly, and what a sweet feeling for him to come back to New York and play this way.
Well, coming up, it's the New York Knicks and the Portland Trailblazers on a night that will see Derek Harper make his Knick debut at the Garden.
Stretched out. The Giants moving on. Gutsy game for McMahon and Mark Collins. LT's Meadowlands career may be over, but his career as a Giant.
Back at Madison Square Garden, we are set for the introduction of the Hertz starting lineups.
For the Blazers, at guard at 6'3" from DePaul, number 1, Ron Strickland. At guard at 6'2" from Alabama, number 26, James Robinson. At forward at 6'9" from Oklahoma, number 44, Harvey Grant. At forward at 6'8" from Maryland, number 52, Bump Williams. And at center at 6'10" from Connecticut, number 3, Clifford Robinson. The trainer is Mike Shemensky. Assistant coaches Jack Shallow, John Wetzel, and Kip Mata. The head coach, Rick Edelman. Injured and not playing tonight, Terry Porter. And now, please welcome your New York Knicks. At guard at 6'5" from Oklahoma State, number 3, John Starks. At guard at 6'2" from the UNLV, number 50, Greg Anthony. At forward at 6'8" from St. Louis, number 4, Anthony Bonner. At forward at 6'9" from Virginia Union, number 34, co-captain Charles Oakley. And at center at 7 feet from Georgetown, number 33, co-captain Patrick Ewing. The head trainer is Mike Saunders, the assistant trainer Tim Walsh, assistant coaches Dick Carter and Jeff Van Gundy, and the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley.
Well, for the Knicks, it has been erratic play as of late. Certainly all the injuries have contributed to that. And last night they were beaten by a Charlotte club that had both Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning sidelined by injuries. We talked with Pat Riley about the Knicks' quest to turn it around this evening.
If you don't get on with it, then this league will bring you to your knees. So, as painful as last night's loss was, we will just move on and get ready for the Portland Trailblazers. That's all that's left.
Well, a good win tonight for the Knicks will erase last night's memory. That's the reality of the NBA. There's Derek Harper sitting with Jeff Van Gundy going over some plays. Derek much more comfortable now after that beginning spotlight presentation that went his way, came and went. Now he can concentrate more on the game.
Derek last night played 17 minutes, 0 for 3, and did have an opportunity with that three-point shot to tie the game in the final seconds, but went off the back of the rim and had 2 assists. And you know that he will be enthusiastically greeted when he steps on the court for the first time here at the Garden in a Knick uniform. A look at the officials tonight as Rod Strickland of the Blazers controls the tip and works against Greg Anthony. It's Strickland and rookie James Robinson out of Alabama in the backcourt for Portland in the absence of Terry Porter. Shot clock at 5 as Cliff Robinson throws the air ball. John Starks being guarded by James Robinson. Charles Oakley played by Buck Williams as the Knicks set up on this opening possession. Shot clock at 5. Ewing goes at Robinson. Williams came over to help out. And this is James Robinson. Open shot for Buck Williams. And Portland leads 2-0.
Buck Williams is doing his thing these days. Of course, we only see him in New York once a year, and you wonder when he's going to slip. He's been around so long, but there is no sign of slippage in Buck Williams' game.
Buck at 33 years of age in his 13th NBA season, and he has played well. He's been Portland's most consistent player this year. Ewing is fouled. Got sandwiched. Once again, the double teaming of Patrick Ewing as Rod Strickland came over, and he was called for the foul. Portland on Friday night lost to the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta 100-85. They have dropped 3 of the last 4. This is the final game of a 4-game road trip. They're looking for a split of the trip. They lost to Houston and Atlanta. They beat Charlotte. And in that game, they came from 21 points down to beat the Hornets.
Portland is going through problems related to the lack of Clyde Drexler in their lineup, and Chris Dudley has never gotten started with them.
Well, Patrick Ewing gives the Knicks a 3-2 lead as Dudley suffering that fractured left ankle. It is hoped that he'll be back later this month. Drexler out with a sprained ankle. Terry Porter missing a 3rd straight game with a sprained ankle. Buck Williams, guarded by Patrick Ewing, was stripped. Ewing with the nice fake.
Oh, that's a new one. He went up in the air almost with his back completely to the basket. Well, I didn't know he had that in his leg. That was so well done.
That might have surprised Patrick. As Cliff Robinson went for the fake. And then Patrick Ewing able to go high off glass. Oakley lost the rebound, and Strickland cuts it to a 5-4 Knick lead.
Strickland never gives up on a play. As we showed in the open, he has that ability after the play doesn't go his way to stay with it and turn it around.
Anthony hits the floor. Cliff Robinson with the strip. And here is Strickland. Hit on a reach-in. And it's Ewing called for the foul.
Take a look at that Ewing move that was so special before. He fakes right and spins around the other way and goes up in the air and then decides to put it in off the backboard. Beautifully done. Patrick's showing some disdain, though, for Robinson. When he gets the ball and turns and faces him, Robinson's been taking the ball away from him.
And this is James Hollywood Robinson hitting from deep in the corner to give the Blazers a 6-5 lead. James Robinson, a first-round draft pick out of Alabama, led Alabama in scoring. That's a three-pointer. John Starks hits from downtown, as he did with regularity last night. Hit 4 three-pointers in Charlotte. The Knicks now lead 8-6. Cliff Robinson looking for the move and forces the shot. Bad shot. But Buck Williams gets it out. And Strickland is fouled once again. Getting back to the subject of the rookie James Robinson. Came out following his junior year. He led Alabama in scoring for 3 straight years. And this is James Robinson. And he lost it.
So unusual to hear a coaching staff talk about a man like this, the rookie Robinson, who you're talking about, Marv, in terms of his defensive skills. It usually takes a rookie quite a while to adjust to NBA-style defense, but that's the first subject that comes up on the when you talk about Robinson.
Oakley, Ewing, a little bit too strong with that tip attempt. Strickland with a gorgeous move. And the crowd responds. Rod Strickland with a beautiful dribble drive around Greg Anthony, and he's tied the game at 8.
Just breathtaking.
Anthony firing to Rick Adelman on the sideline.
Oh, the wonders of replay. We get another look at this. Strickland, crossover dribble, accelerating, then going to the left hand and making that shot.
John, are you fascinated by the advent of replay? It's been with us for several years.
Oh, I know it, but just so wonderful when you get one of those.
Replay?
I mean, we show replays with turnovers and bad plays, but that's when you can really enjoy a replay, Marv.
Cliff Robinson giving the Blazers a 10-8 lead. Here's Starks.
Like having 2 ice cream cones.
I see. Cliff Robinson. Nice move. Cliff Robinson is averaging 20 points per game. He leads the Trailblazers. Cliff in his 5th season with the Blazers out of the University of Connecticut. Anthony, yes. Greg Anthony cuts it to a 12-10 Portland lead.
Charles Oakley picking up Cliff Robinson, whose mobility will be real tough for Patrick Ewing. He's so active in the focal point of their offense. The Knicks decided to go with Oakley on him right now.
And again, Oakley is given the open shot. Even last night, we saw in Charlotte with Charles Oakley hitting the outside shot. Oakley called for a holding foul. Hornets still were allowing him to take the shot, so they don't fully buy that Charles has been on fire with the jump shot. Baseman Keith Hernandez. Nick Barnett taking it all in. You saw Connie and Maury along the sideline. I've not seen Connie and Maury here for some time. Connie thinks she's on the air. She's holding cupping her ear, doing some reporting.
She has fond memories of Jim Carvelis' broadcast.
That's right. Jim had the radio style cupping the ear. John Starks has tied the game at 12. Nice of us to show people at courtside unsuspecting and then dump on them.
I think they know they're highly visible at courtside, Mark, so the behavior's pretty good.
Rod Strickland giving Portland a 14-12 lead. Halfway through the first quarter, the Knicks come in at 20-9, but they've gone only 5 up, 5 down the last 10 games. Starks fouled by James Robinson. Last night in Charlotte, Knicks beaten by the Hornets after leading by as many as 20 points in the first quarter. They jump in front 20-2. Charlotte at one stretch missed 12 straight shots, scoreless for 5.5 minutes over a period in the first quarter. But Del Curry with that extraordinary shooting exhibition brought Charlotte back 30 points, 6 from three-point land, and the quick release was remarkable. We were talking about it after the game. He would be sensational even if we were playing a game of horse the way he was going.
Yes, he was making the kind of shots I felt that you make in practice or when you're fooling around. And he made 6 out of 8 threes, and a couple of them in very big moments. It was a great shooting exhibition.
The Knicks and the Blazers tied at 14. Cliff Robinson. And you saw the jumping ability of James Robinson, although he did not collar that rebound. Ewing from deep. The Knicks lead 16-14. Well, the upside of that is, of course, the Knicks were able to get a field goal. The downside is that Patrick Ewing may stay out there and shoot jump shots throughout the game. Here's Buck Williams. Williams again and drew the foul.
Big Buck all by himself under there with 4 Knicks surrounding him.
Anthony Bonner called for that foul.
There's an interesting situation where 5 opponents have scored 30 or more against the Knicks this year, and all of those opponents led their team to victory. Knicks are 0 for 5 when the opponent scores 30 or more.
And James Robinson hits the 3. I would venture to say you could probably say that about most teams in the NBA, though, John. When someone scores 30 points, I think for the most part you will lose.
A lot of times, though, it's domination by one player and the other 4 are out of it.
And a foul is called against the Knicks. Anthony picks up his first. 4:43 remaining in the first quarter. The Blazers lead by 1, and Rod Strickland will go to the line. Rod, a first-round draft pick of the Knicks back in 1988. Remember the Knicks trading him to San Antonio for Maurice Cheeks. Then he left San Antonio, signed by Portland as a free agent. This is second year with the Blazers. Portland leads by 3. Starks looking for a pick and roll, did not work, and Ewing's pass is batted away by Buck Williams. The Knicks have 11 on the 24.
Great matchup between Buck Williams and Charles Oakley. Buck is guarding Oakley at the Knicks end. Both the type of players who will not give in to any kind of pressure from the other guy.
Ewing came up short. Anthony with a nice follow. The Knicks now trail by 1. This is the first of 2 meetings between the Knicks and Portland. Last year they split their 2 games. Knicks losing in Portland, winning here at the Garden. Nice move. Buck Williams off the dribble.
Well, he had Patrick Ewing out high, and he showed his mobility is a little better than Patrick's.
Ewing with the drop step. Gorgeous jump hook to bring the Knicks within 1.
And that's Patrick going to his strength down low.
9 points for Ewing. Cliff Robinson off the fake. James Robinson played on a switch by Charles Oakley. The mismatch is Cliff Robinson and John Starks. Cliff Robinson gets to it. Strickland. Blazers firing away. They take a lot of shots. Here's Starks for 3. Yes. His second from downtown. The Knicks 23 and the Blazers 21. John, Portland shooting just under 45%. That's the bottom rung of the league. They have taken nearly 2,900 shots, the most in the NBA, and they average 104 points per game. That's 4th in the NBA, but the shooting percentage is not good, and the shot selection is not good.
That's their philosophy, run and gun. I mean, that simplifies it, but that's really how they play. They shoot a lot and they run. They love to play that way.
Ewing with another new one out of the repertoire. What is going on here? A spin by Ewing. He drew the foul called on Buck Williams. Derek Harper will enter the game in just a moment, but first a timeout is called. It's the Knicks leading by 2. Look at that group. Harry Gallatin wore number 11. Jumping Johnny Green, Neil Johnson, Jesse Dart, Bob McAdoo, Stuart Granger, Tony White, Cedric Toney, Forrest Weber, the first to wear number 11 as a New York Knick. You remember Forrest, John?
I think I do, Marv. Yes. Don't ask me any details, though.
Actually, I don't. And I am checking my handy Knick guide.
Meanwhile, when Harper came out on the court, Rod Strickland greeted him with a nice handshake, showing that opponents can be sportsmanlike.
John, just to get this out of my mind, Forrest Weber played for the Knicks in 46-47, 11 games. They called him Jake. Played his college ball at Purdue. Averaged 1.8 points per game. First Knick to wear number 11.
That was your second year, wasn't it?
No,
doing Knicks on radio?
No, wrong, John. I was just a little child. And an illegal defense.
So what? You were broadcasting as a baby.
Well, that is the first infraction, and a new 24 coming up. 2.5 remaining in this first quarter. The Knicks with a 24-21 lead on the Trailblazers. This is Mark Bryant, who just checked in and shoots the air ball. The save by Harper. And Derek Harper moves it across.
Harper made a fine play. He left Rod Strickland, went all the way in to battle that rebound.
Oh, here's Derek calling out a play. Finding Oakley. Off to Ewing. Well, that's a pretty impressive sequence. And the Knicks lead 26-21.
That was a good play he called out, Marv.
8-2 run by the Knicks with just under 2 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Strickland played by Harper. They double up on Strickland, leaving Buck Williams open. Mark Bryant, after that last shot, not looking to shoot, and then coughed it up.
Good play by Stark, sticking with his man who came out high and then started to go baseline.
checking around for Bryant. Off the fake he forced and drew the foul.
But you know what Ewing is doing now? It's amazing how he gets into streaks. He's going into the defense instead of falling away on that shot, which means he's drawing fouls, as he did last night in Charlotte, going to the line 12 times, 12 shots rather, at the line. And that makes it very tough for the defender.
Last night hit 10 of 12 from the foul line. It's been a very active first quarter for Patrick Ewing. 12 points in all, 5 of 7 shooting. Now James Robinson sits down. Rookie from Alabama, hitting 2 out of 3, 5 points. And Jaren Jackson checks in for the first time. Jaren in his 4th year out of Georgetown, a guy who has been around the NBA. Played for the Nets, Golden State, Clippers. Saw some action in the CBA. This is Jackson with it. Under a minute left in the first quarter. Ewing with the screen. Ewing going one-on-one. And it is blocked emphatically by Cliff Robinson. We heard the impact of that rejection throughout the Garden. 2 on the shot clock.
Robinson digging in on Patrick, going for the fake and still succeeding despite him going off the floor.
Well, Charles Oakley beat the 24-second clock. The Knicks 29 and the Blazers 21. 30 seconds to go, first quarter. Buck Williams putting the move on Patrick Ewing. Nice fake, protected the ball and was able to hit over Ewing. 29-23. The Knicks with the lead, and they'll hold for a final shot. Harper resetting it against Strickland. Works the clock down. 10 seconds to go. Down to 5. Ewing from deep. That was an Xavier McDaniel turnaround jump shot by Patrick Ewing. And that's the end of the first quarter. It's the Knicks 29. The Portland Trailblazers 23.
A real winner knows how to party right. Please use good sense when you drink and know when to say when. A reminder from Budweiser. The injured Blazers, Terry Porter on the left, Chris Dudley also at the end of the bench, and the perennial all-star Clyde Drexler looking up at the camera there. Clyde was out here warming up before the game, as was Dudley. Clyde looked great.
He was on the injured list 3 separate times last season. It's been a difficult stretch the last couple of years. Hope that he'll be back in about 10 days. Patrick Ewing gets the second quarter underway, and the Knicks now lead 31-23. Holding foul on Harper pressing Strickland. Jerome Kersey has checked in for the first time. It's been an injury-hit couple of years for Kersey. So Bryant, Robinson, that's Cliff Robinson, and Kersey up front. Jaren Jackson in the backcourt with Rod Strickland. The Knicks by 8 points. Bryant guarded by Ewing. Strickland shooting. And Bonner and Starks going for the rebound.
John Starks showing those great legs as well, right up there with Bonner.
Bonner, Oakley, and Ewing on the front line. Starks and Harper in the backcourt. The outside official, Bruce Alexander, with the call against the Blazers.
On the exchange underneath, John Starks and Bonner exchanging. Pick being set by Bonner to get free by Starks. And foul called on that play.
Kersey called for the foul. Rolando Blackman replacing John Starks. So the Knicks have their Mav-geared backcourt. Blackman and Harper at the guards. Blackman comes off the pick.
Now the script said he hits that shot. The script was incorrect last night, though, and Harper took that 3 at the end of the game and missed.
Rolando Blackman shot well once again last night. Strong long drive. Jaron Jackson finished it off with the reverse. Blackman last night, 5 of 10, 10 points in his 27 minutes. Good feed by Blackman. Ewing got the good position. The Knicks now lead 33-25. And Patrick Ewing with 17 points. Harper and Cliff Robinson in a collision both went down. Jackson. Oh, Jaron Jackson with another strong move. Jaron Jackson was with lacrosse in the CBA, leading lacrosse in scoring and the second leading scorer in the league. A lot of ball movement by the Knicks. Blackman finding the opening and then was stripped. Here's Jaron Jackson for Cliff Robinson. Challenged by Anthony Bonner and foul.
Knicks happy with that defensive effort. Ewing congratulating Bonner for his ability to go up and stop that shot. Looked like a layup for Robinson. Bonner has a very competitive attitude. He'll go up and challenge the big guy, denying that what appeared to be layup.
Bonner called for his second foul. And Cliff Robinson on the line where he has had his difficulties, although this season shooting at about 70%. That's good for Cliff. Cliff Robinson has certainly made progress. Rookie year where he was coming off the bench, averaged 9 a game, then up to 11.7, 12 and a half, and 19 per game last year, and now as a starter averaging about 20 points per game. He's improved steadily throughout his 4 NBA seasons. Last year named the NBA's 6th man of the year. The Knicks lead is 5. Harper. There's a rush shot by Derek Harper, but it will be Nick Ball. Herb Williams has replaced Patrick Ewing, who sits down as the high man with 17. Here's John Starks returning, replacing Anthony Bonner. So Pat Riley will go with a 3-guard setup with Blackman, Starks, and Harper. Starks fires and hits. What a shot by John Starks.
Well, he had to adjust it because of what the defense presented. Usually that interrupts your concentration and you miss the shot, but John got it all done.
12 for Starks. Strickland getting the step, and he was fouled.
John Starks on that last basket getting free. Looks like an in, trying to break loose from the defender. And he hangs in the air with that little extra leg pop.
That was very similar to the form of a man we saw just moments ago sitting courtside, Dick Barnett. That was out of the fall back baby jump shot school, but he was making an adjustment. That is not a, well, Dick liked it.
Dick always likes it when the ball goes in the basket.
The Knicks 35 and the Blazers 30. Ewing and Starks have combined for 29 of the Knicks' 35 points. Starks, yes. Oh, he feels it. John Starks has that look. And the Knicks lead by 7.
The pick was there, and the ball got to John when the pick was set. Perfectly executed by that team.
Offensive foul, and Starks does it at the defensive end, drawing the charge on Jaron Jackson.
Well, John will always claim that defense is what really got him in the NBA, and when he goes off sometimes, he's always reminded that's what did it for you, John. Stay with the defense, and he's doing it.
Blackman met on a switch. Herb Williams called for a travel. Herb Williams with his eyes lighting up, and that he's now guarded by second-year man Reggie Smith, a second-round draft pick last year, a player who has been used sparingly. Strickland wasting no time. Strickland changed his mind. Here's Smith. And Smith missed the layup. Starks gets down and pops for 3. The Knicks by 7 with 4 minutes gone by, second quarter.
Knicks are getting better and better at advancing the ball when they get it from the defensive end. They push it up court quickly.
Strickland fouled. by Harper. Oh, Derek Harper called for a second. Derek Harper playing his second game as a member of the Knicks. Debuted last. Murray, second-year player from UCLA, who has been getting the playing time as of late, has come on here for the first time. James Robinson is back. Jerome Kersey off the mark. And Charles Oakley rebounds. Starks moving on Robinson, going all the way. The Knicks 39. The Blazers 30. John Starks putting the speed on. He now has 16.
We saw evidence of James Robinson's jumping ability, and I thought there'd be a collision there, but Starks went over him.
Jackson guarded by Starks. Shot clock at 3. It's down to 1. James Robinson got it off. Oakley with the rebound. Nice box out by Charles, and then fires it. Now Patrick Ewing returns along with Anthony Bonner, replacing Herb Williams and Charles Oakley. Knicks playing well here on the first half. Trying to turn it from last night, led by as many as 20 points in the first quarter, allowed Charlotte to get back into it, although they played without Alonzo Mourning and Larry Johnson, and the Hornets stole one last night at home. Crossover dribble by Jackson. Aaron Jackson with a very impressive stint here in the second quarter. He's hit 3 out of 5 for 6 points. The Knicks 39 and the Trailblazers 32. Harper lost it. And Derek Harper having a difficult time right now, getting, as they say, into the flow.
Meanwhile, Jared Jackson showing some of his finer moments of the season. He has not been doing particularly well for the Blazers this year, but he came in right off the bench and has been quite effective.
6.5 remaining in the first half. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwick, Walt Clyde Frazier from the Garden. And with Murray off. Chrissy Murray starting at big guard in recent games.
Knicks shooting at 64% from the field right now, and those assists are piling up.
Ewing drawing the double team. Blackman for 3. And it's tipped home. Anthony Bonner with the tip.
He is relentless around the boards.
For Bonner, his first field goal. Hard driving move by Kersey. Put the head down and hit it off the dribble. Moving on Bonner. Bonner called for that foul, so he's picked up a quick 3.
Well, on that shot that looked like it was going in for Orlando, Bonner wasn't interested in turning around, running it backcourt until he finished and made sure it went in.
Foul by Bonner, sending Kersey to the line. The combination of Patrick Ewing and John Starks have accounted for 33 of the Knicks' 41 points. Ewing with 17, Starks with 16. Here's Charles Oakley back, replacing Anthony Bonner. Rod Strickland has come on for Jaren Jackson.
Boy, if you've been looking at the box scores lately, you see Jerome Kersey has really slid out of the prominent picture for Portland, where he's been for so many years. Only 31, and he seems to be losing it.
I wonder if he's wearing down. He's been such a physical player over the years. Blackman extends to a 10-point Knick lead. Jerome has been injury hit in recent years. Shoulder, knee, ankle, ribs, you name it. And he has been coming off the bench this season. Guess Kersey with the call against the Knicks. It's called on Oakley.
Robinson going in, using that speed to get around Ewing. Oakley comes over to help. Robinson's 6'10", and he extends well to the basket. Tough for Charles to make a block on a guy like this. Hey, one of the great stories of talent evaluation, Marv, is this fellow. Second-round draft pick, 36th player chosen.
Well, there's a reason for that. There was a question about his attitude in college. You know, guys didn't want to take a chance with him. I mean, that's, you know, when you see this happen, you know that there's a pretty good reason for that.
Well, every team in the NBA they saw the talent that was underneath that attitude, would have gone for him early.
Oh, if they knew that it would turn out like this, certainly. But that's the reason he was passed by. He was not a mystery man because he had an excellent college career. Beautiful pass. Blackman for Oakley. The Knicks open up a 12-point lead, and Portland calls for time.
It's the pressure, Marv, the ability of the Knicks and the awareness to move that ball, to push it up court quickly. And here they played last night, and they're looking very fresh here in the first half. And that motion is confusing the Trailblazers, who are showing very poor teamwork in defensive transition. They're not identifying the Knicks quickly enough.
22nd timeout by the Trailblazers. The Knicks back here at the Garden Tuesday night for the Los Angeles Clippers. Mark Jackson and company will be here at the Garden Tuesday night. Knicks game night at 7, and we'll be on hand at 7:30. And the Clippers last season took both meetings from the Knicks, including one in overtime.
Kind of ironic to have Rod Strickland here on Sunday and Mark Jackson here on Tuesday. Both players doing well, too, in the NBA assist column among the league leaders.
Clippers, though, have struggled. They've lost 5 in a row. They are 11 and 19. Next game night will include a close-up look, a feature on Mark Jackson. That's a 3-point attempt, and rescued by Strickland. Oh, Rod Strickland with a nice play. The Knicks now lead 45-35 with 4:25 remaining in this first half.
Strickland showed great hands in retrieving that ball. The Knicks red hot, Blazers at 39%.
Ewing getting possession. Rebounded by Grant. Well, Buck Williams trying the outside shot. Here's Cliff Robinson, and he's fouled. It counts. He got the call on the continuation. Rolando Blackman all over the back of Cliff Robinson, who was shaken up.
Robinson again so mobile, and Blackman with a semi-chokehold, unable to stop him from making the shot.
And has been called a flagrant foul.
With a look at it now, Rolando, fine gentleman that he is, I'm sure didn't mean to commit a flagrant, but boy, it sure looked rough for Robinson.
Rolando was trying to prevent Cliff Robinson from getting off the shot on the drive. So Cliff Robinson 1 of 5 from the line, and now he does have an additional free throw to complete the 3-point play. This a potential 6 or 7-point play. When you think about it, he hit the field goal. He has 2 foul shots, and they'll have possession. He's now 1 of 6 from the line. Blazers have missed their last 5 foul shots.
We're 72% from the foul line team, which is not good enough for the better teams.
Just under 4 minutes remaining in this first half. James Robinson. His 3rd field goal. He has 7 points. Portland 6 of 12 from the foul line. The Knicks lead is now 6. They've led by as many as 12. Here's the double team and the foul called on Grant. Harvey Grant has been disappointing as a member of the Portland Trailblazers. He was acquired from the Bullets, and the deal for Kevin Duckworth that was pulled off last June. Spent 5 years with the Bullets, averaging 18 a game each of the last 3 years. Now just hasn't seemed to fit in the way the Blazers had hoped he would.
No, he hasn't. He hasn't become a dominant scorer either.
Averaging only 10 a game. Here's Strickland. And he's hit from behind. Rod Strickland will go to the line. Foul on Blackman. Second foul committed by Blackman. Rod Strickland to the free throw line. He has hit 4 out of 4.
The Blazers have always, in recent years, at any rate, seem to have had so many talented players as they do now. As you look at their lineup, although they're not all healthy, but the integration of Grant, into this team just hasn't taken place. Perhaps it might reflect his rather soft personality as well. Perhaps he should be more forceful in demanding the ball.
The Knicks lead is now 4. We come up on 3 minutes to go in the half. Anthony Starks and Blackman in a 3-guard alignment along with Ewing and Oakley. Shot clock down to 6. Not a good shot. Knicks end up standing around as Ewing was double teamed and looking for the jump shot. Now Pat Riley takes a timeout. The Knicks 45 and the Trailblazers 41. Back in the scoreboard, his club is down by 4. We touched on this before, John. Portland is 4th in scoring the NBA. Bad shooting percentage, 45%, but they do the job off the boards. Strange mix. And actually, the moral of that story is as Buck Williams gets inside, a lot of talent on this club, but they don't take good shots.
They hit the boards, and the offensive boards enable them to be a high-scoring team.
10-0 run by the Trailblazers, and they've cut that lead to 2. Ewing called for the travel.
Knicks seem to be at that point now, Marv, where they're living off Patrick Ewing exclusively. They need a little more variety. The defense is very tuned into him now.
2:20 to go in this first half. James Robinson with a nice spin move. Anthony going behind the back. Good feed from Starks. Ewing got the step. Cliff Robinson wisely stepped away. Did not want to pick up the foul. The Knicks now lead 47-43.
Again, the pushing of the basketball and that fine lead pass by Starks made it work.
Strickland. Strickland with the rebound. Three-second violation. It's called on Buck Williams. Minute 40 remaining in the first half. The Knicks with a 47-43 lead on the Trailblazers. First of 2 meetings this season between the Knicks and Portland. Starks fouled by James Robinson. That's his second.
Bob, I'd like to tell you, I know you know the story, but for the friends and family of Howie Singer, the electronic wizard, our producer, he had a close call yesterday, and we just like to tell his friends and family that everything's okay. Howie had a big job trying to edit a Derek Harper story yesterday, had to go down to South Carolina from Charlotte, found himself outside a phone booth trying to locate where he had to go next, and jumped out of his car to make a call, and all of a sudden he had a animal. He didn't know whether it was a pig or a wild boar.
Wait a moment. He was out.
Breathing.
He was making a phone call.
He was making a phone call, and he got out of the phone booth and went to the car, and all of a sudden there's a wild boar, he thought, or a pig coming at him, and he ended up in a chase. Unfortunately, got to the car before this animal got him, and even said it was multicolored on top of that.
You know, John, the pressure-packed business of being a high-powered sports television producer can play tricks with the mind. Patrick Ewing extending to a 51-43 lead.
Well, an out-of-breath wizard thankfully arrived at the game on time, and everything worked out, but boy, was he shaken up.
Cliff Robinson for Buck Williams. I feel as if you told me a bedtime story that is a fable.
Well, it's true. I mean, it's hard to believe. When you're on the road, who knows what can happen.
Knicks by 6. Final minute, first half. Blackman. So Rod Strickland will bring it across in deliberate fashion. So the shot clock down to 5. 13 seconds to go in the half. Strickland. This did get a piece of the netting. Now 5 seconds left in the half. Starks. Oh, too hard for Oakley. Had the right idea, but too much on it. And the ball goes back to Portland with 2, and 1/10 second remaining. Now the resetting. It's 2 5/10 seconds left in the half, and Buck Williams will put it in play. Nice play by Anthony. Cuts it down to 1 8/10 of a second.
Good play by Anthony, and that Robinson is so quick. He stayed right with him.
And Anthony with the steal. Whoa. Rippled the net. Oh. Greg Anthony with a couple of good defensive plays here in the final seconds. At the half here at the Garden, it's the New York Knicks 51 and the Portland Trailblazers 45. Bob Page coming up at the MSG Sports Desk. Then we'll hear from Al and Clyde.
Hey, she's not the first girl to break up with me.
No, but she was the nicest.
No cute slogans.
You want another?
Yeah.
Waitress, 2 more Heineken, please.
No retired third
I
baseman.
really tried hard with her.
I know you did.
No taste tests.
Please recall him.
No.
None of that is what made Heineken the number
Straight butter, baby.
From the instant you begin until you're over the top, there are no words to describe it. But if you're lucky enough to try it, then you'll know what the others know. The Toyota 4x4. It's the closest thing to owning the mountain. Toyota trucks, you just gotta love them.
Dear Midas customers, we don't want your family riding around on bad brakes. That's why we'll fix the brakes on most cars the same day you bring it in.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
The Knicks are shooting almost 60% from the floor. The Blazers just over 40, but the Knicks lead by only 6. Knicks with a few more turnovers. Blazers getting the job done on the boards. That's part of the story as John Starks and Patrick Ewing have 39 of 51 points. I'll be with Walt Frazier in a moment, but here's Bob Page right now.
Thank you, Al. Good evening, everybody. You know, the Giants may not be a great team, but they know how to win, beating the teams they should beat when they should beat them. Today, they staged a nice comeback in the second half, defeated the Minnesota Vikings 17-10 at the Meadowlands in the NFC wildcard game. Dennis Green and the Vikings led this one 10-3 at halftime, but just 2:54 into the third quarter, Rodney Hampton managed to break loose on a 51-yard touchdown run to tie it up. Hampton 33 carries for 161 yards. His 2-yard TD later in the third put New York ahead for good. The Vikings rallied in the fourth. Backup quarterback Sean Salisbury hits Chris Carter over the middle deep in Giants territory. But Myron Guyton knocks the ball loose right into the arms of Greg Jackson, and the Giants held on from there. They'll play at San Francisco next Saturday. Afterwards, MSG's Mike Crispino asked Corey Miller what the Giants said to each other in the locker room, trailing at halftime.
We just wanted to come out and keep playing. My lips froze. I can't even talk. But we knew we had to shut them down. We knew our offense would come through for us. We just had to give them the ball. That's what we did. Just a hell of an effort.
When you're concerned at halftime down 10-3?
Not at all. Just like last week, we knew we'd come back out and play well. Defensively, we just wanted to shut them down, and we've done it 2 weeks in a row.
Not a San Francisco. It's going to be a little warmer, but it might be tougher, right?
A little tougher, but we're ready for the challenge, baby. We just where we wanted to be.
Meanwhile, ex-Giant Jeff Hostetler was brilliant, leading the L.A. Raiders to a 42-24 thrashing of Denver in the AFC wildcard game today. They have now beaten the Broncos 3 straight times this year. Art Shell got 13 of 19 passing for 294 and 3 touchdowns from Haas. Great throw and a great catch by James Jett on this 54-yard effort in the second quarter. The game was tied 21-all at halftime. 2 second-half touchdowns by Napoleon McCallum helped break it open for the Raiders, who go from 72 degrees today in the Coliseum to the frozen tundra of Buffalo next Saturday. And in a college football note, Tennessee All-American quarterback Heath Shuler announced today he would renounce his final year of eligibility and apply for the NFL draft. Now this.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders 2-in-1. Because great hair can't have flakes.
Debbie, these shots are fabulous. Beautiful.
That put Phoenix up at the time 22-9 before Golden State mounted a modest comeback. Before the game, the Suns placed Charles Barkley on the injured list due to a strained quadricep. He will miss 5 games. Cedric Ceballos was activated. College basketball today, Seton Hall lost at Purdue 69-67. Highlights at 11 tonight, plus Harry Carson joins me on our half-hour edition of the MSG Sports Desk. Ben.
Don't forget the big screen TVs. It's January clearance time at the Wiz, and the warehouse is jumping. We're moving all our merchandise into our stores before inventory. Get the camcorders on. Everything's going. Every brand, every model. Everything from VCRs to cellular phones, video movies, cassettes, and compact discs. The best thing is we're slashing prices on hundreds of items. We want to sell them, not count them. The January in-store warehouse clearance sale. Nobody beats the Wiz.
Hi, I got this letter.
Quarter 12 in the second. 6 points is the difference as we welcome you back to the Garden at halftime. A look at the scoring summary brought to you by your Jeep and Eagle dealers. Patrick Ewing exposing the weakness of Portland not having a legitimate center. 21 points, 9 of 15 from the floor, 4 rebounds. John Starks, 18 points, 6 of 8 shooting. He was hot, and they were the next scoring story. As for the Portland Trailblazers, a nice return to the Garden for Rod Strickland, 14 points with 6 rebounds. Buck Williams added 10. The rest of the story, single digits for the Portland Trailblazers. Al Troutwick with Walt Clyde Frazier, who moments ago made the bold prediction. Clyde?
Yeah, I think the Knicks have this one in the bag, folks.
In the bag?
In the bag. This is a familiar scenario with them playing well in the first half, but I like the way Ewing is looking. He's moving and grooving. Outstanding play by John Starks, the Oak man controlling the glass.
All right, Ewing and Starks will begin our highlight recap of the first half, brought to you by Minolta, makers of the new Freedom 105EX, only from the mind of Minolta. Few tricks to Patrick's repertoire tonight.
Well, Cliff Robinson is 6'10", 225, not your normal center, but watch the agility and mobility of Ewing with the sky hook.
John Starks had a different look, if you talk about looks, when he came onto the floor tonight, and it showed with his first half.
Yeah, well, watch Oakley come up with the rebound, the intangibles of this man. This is why Starks has become a New York favorite, folks. People like his tenacity and audacity as he goes to the hoop.
And, you know, Rod Strickland is thinking return to the Garden when he steps onto the floor.
Former New York schoolboy, he knows how to wheel and deal, this time improvising off the left side.
Cliff Robinson, 7 points, and you'd have to say shot selection? I don't think so.
No, but he leads the Blazers in scoring because of his hustle. Watch him miss the shot, then come up with the carry, showing good dexterity here with the left-handed scoop.
I always saw a few minutes from Derek Harper making his Madison Square Garden debut. His first assist, I don't know if he was credited for one or not, but it was a great play that he started. After that, it was a bit of a struggle for him to get in the flow. What do you think?
Well, he doesn't have his fluidity, which is normal when a guy's traded, coming to New York, having Gardenitis. But I look for him to settle down and become a good player for the Knicks.
All right, Clyde says it's in the bag. He usually is not on our post-game coverage, but if they don't win, he will be back. Knicks up 6 at the half. At the Garden, let me see if I can work on my Robin Leach impersonation here. Let's see.
And now back to Marv Albert and John Andreas.
How was that, Marv?
You know, you are getting better and better. That is the best halftime throw that we've had. Very well done. As we check out the shooting percentages in the first half. Blazers 18 for 44. They follow the usual script. A lot of shots, and they do not shoot well, while the Knicks at 58%. Slight edge for the Knicks off the boards. Rod Strickland, high man of that department for Portland, with 6 rebounds. And in the assist department, the Knicks with 17 and Portland only 8. John Starks off to the good start with 5.
Fast break points featuring the Knicks, and that's a bit of a surprise with the Portland Trailblazers, a team known for their running. And our Toyota matchup tonight, featuring Patrick Ewing and his adversary, Mr. Robinson. Patrick with a very big first half, 9 out of 15 from the field, 4 rebounds.
Wonder if he can do an Al Troutwick. He was very, very good. Well, he's a regular. He has emerged as a regular visitor in that particular seat. Patrick Ewing and John Starks combining for 39 of the Knicks' 51 points. Ewing with 21 and Starks with 18. Starks and Bonner runs it down. Third quarter underway. The Knicks with Ewing, Bonner, Oakley up front. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Bonner is playing with 3 fouls. Ewing drawing the double team, and the pass picked off by Strickland. Here's Strickland. Looked like he would go all the way, changed his mind, and then turns it over.
Patrick has to concentrate more and more on his reaction when he gets double teamed. It's very predictable, and Strickland read that.
Yes, at times it is a telegraph pass, and Rod Strickland was there to pick it off. Anthony given the shot. And Cliff Robinson gets to it. He's up front with Buck Williams and Harvey Grant. The rookie James Robinson out of Alabama in the backcourt with Rod Strickland. Grant on the recovery. This is James Robinson. Cliff Robinson with the save and fires cross court. Open shot for James Robinson. The Knicks lead is now 4. Ewing changed his mind. He had that baseline jump shot. Ewing. The Knicks have been playing pitch and catch with Patrick Ewing. As a result, the Knicks offense gets an offensive foul. The Knicks offense has been strictly Ewing and Starks. I would think that Pat Riley would want better scoring distribution.
Greg Anthony trying to draw the offensive foul on that play. Got in front of Rod Strickland.
Came up hobbling, and he's trying to walk it off. Starks for Oakley. Nice setup, but Oakley missed the layup. Strickland with the spin. Trailblazers get back. Starks with an open 3. Bonner couldn't hold on. Well, the Knicks having their shooting problems here at the start of the third quarter. 2 minutes gone by. Knicks missing their first 5 shots of the quarter.
Knicks seem to be concentrating so much on long jump shooting these days. They could certainly use a dose of picks that open up 15 to 18-foot jump shots instead of so many three-point attempts.
22nd timeout taken by Rick Adelman. A reminder tonight, Knicks Rewind. That'll be coming up at midnight. Replay of tonight's action in somewhat condensed version. The Knicks with a 51-47 lead on the Blazers. We're early in the third quarter. Knicks coming off that loss in Charlotte last night where they led by as many as 20 in the first quarter. Portland's last game in Atlanta, beaten by the Hawks. Blazers at 18-14. Cliff Robinson gets the roll. This is the finale of a 4-game road trip for Portland. They lost to Houston and Atlanta, beat Charlotte coming from behind to win that one. Blazers back home on Tuesday to play Seattle. Ewing bottled up and lost it. Strickland has Robinson with him. Couldn't make the decision, and the Blazers very fortunate to come up with the basket by Buck Williams. Rod Strickland upset with himself. He hung in the air as he tried to make a decision. And the Knicks are now hearing it from the crowd as the Blazers have come from 12 back to tie the game at 51. And the 22nd timeout is taken by the Knicks. On the subject of that tough Portland schedule, see the 4-game road trip. Houston, Charlotte, and Atlanta. They were beaten at home by Utah prior to the trip. Utah Jazz having a very fine season. Play Seattle, when they make their return home, Seattle with a record of 26-3 in their latest win streak, 6 in a row.
Portland's been getting down in games as well. They were down the other night, as we saw in Atlanta, or rather Charlotte, and then they were down 18 in Utah and ended up in a 2-point game. Meanwhile, the Knicks, although they're trying very hard and working hard, are not getting it done out there. They're not looking sharp at all. They're not getting the loose ball. They're rushing shots, and they need a lot more poise in their offense. That seems to be lacking.
Cliff Robinson called for that foul, sending John Starks to the foul line. Going back to the latter stage of the second quarter, the Knicks have missed their last 7 shots.
Speaking about that tough schedule of Portland, in that they have been playing so many quality teams, and now after the game tonight, Marv, they are flying immediately back to Oregon. A long cross-country flight so that they can have a day off tomorrow and then greet Seattle on Tuesday.
The Knicks lead is now 1. They have led most of the way. Early in the game, Portland did lead by 4. Here's Grant. It's only his second shot. He's 0 for 2. He's been very quiet. Knicks went over 4 minutes without scoring prior to that free throw by Starks, who hits the 3. So John Starks last night hit 4 from three-point land. Tonight has hit 3. It's 3 out of 5 from downtown. The Knicks 55, the Blazers 51. Buck Williams. Starks backs it to three-point territory. Oakley with the steal. Took it away from Grant. Starks cutting, looking for the pick, and he is now played by Cliff Robinson in a mismatch. Foul called on Buck Williams.
A lot of banging going on between Ewing and Buck. No bad blood, though. Both players respect each other despite the heaviness of the action between the two. Starks with a good bounce pass into Ewing. Buck banging on Ewing best he can. He's trying to bother Patrick. He's only 6'8".
Second foul committed by Buck Williams. Bonner called for a traveling violation.
Turnovers are mounting for the Knicks here in the third quarter.
Knicks by 4. 13 turnovers for the Knicks tonight. Crowd won the travel. 3 of the 13 here in the early going of the third. And a loose ball foul is called. Stay right here, says Jess Kersey. It's on Ewing. That is his second. For the Knicks, their first team foul. Last season, Portland went 51-31. Also an injury hit year. Clyde Drexler sat out nearly half the season because of hamstring problems. He came back from knee surgery. And a foul called on Greg Anthony before the shot attempt. And then in the playoffs, Trailblazers were knocked out in the first round. Knocked out by San Antonio 3-1. So it's a very disappointing season in Portland.
It's a very big year, and this man must be nervous. Rick Adelman has been coaching this team for a while. They've been on the verge of championship caliber now the last few years, and it's a very important season for this team, and it's not going well in that they have injured players, which is always an excuse. It's always an out.
Rick Adelman, his 6th year as head coach of the Trailblazers. An original Trailblazer as a point guard and team captain of the club. Ewing, yes. 23 for Ewing. The Knicks 57. The Trailblazers 51. Strickland on the rebound. Oh, what a play by Rod Strickland.
Well, he's had 2 spectacular plays tonight around the basket. When you consider he was battling 7-foot Patrick Ewing on that, and it worked out successfully, that's most impressive.
16 points for Strickland. He has 7 rebounds. Ewing. Oakley gets to it. Good play by Charles. Able to hang in. The Knicks lead by 4. Just under 6 minutes left in the third quarter. Ewing with the drop step. And a foul against the Knicks.
Well, as Patrick moved to the basket, it appeared that he clobbered Robinson.
Yes, an offensive foul. He used his elbow. Timeout taken by the Blazers.
The move, taking that shot, that height advantage he has on Greg Anthony, and then he's right in there getting his own rebound and making a spectacular shot over Patrick Ewing. Portland Trailblazers have out-rebounded their opponents this year on the average. In fact, they've been out-rebounding them in all but 4 games this season. Remarkable, and it's the play of people in the backcourt like Rod Strickland who have been making that statistic as outstanding as it is. Rod with 7 already in this game.
Down to 10 on the 24. Oh, what a move by the rookie James Robinson, who can explode. He's only 6'1". He's listed at 6'2", but he's about 6'1". He has Terry Porter type qualities. Starks.
I would think members of his family think he may have Michael Jordan type qualities after you see this move at 6'1". Wow. That's Patrick Ewing trying to stop that 6'1" guard.
Well, apparently the ball knocked out of bounds by the Knicks, so the ball goes back to Portland. The Knicks lead by 2. Strickland, it counts, and the foul. What a move by Rod Strickland, who is the best in an off-balance situation at flipping it off glass with the reverse twist to it. There it is. Unbelievable shot by Rod Strickland.
He made a crazy shot going to the basket in the first half. I didn't think it could be topped, but this one tops it.
3-point play for Strickland. Portland leads by 1. John, he may be the best, I know it sounds strange to say, but the best layup shooter in the NBA. He rarely misses, always finishes, and around the basket as Starks gives the Knicks a 1-point lead. His footwork is as good as it gets.
Well, Rod is also, Marv, every time we see Rod, I always go into this thing about he's bigger than he looks. He's a 6'3" guy, and he carries a lot of size to the basket and remarkable hand skills. He had these skills in high school. His coaches have always talked about the special ability around the basket that Strickland has, and here we go, an overhead look at it. Incredible play.
Blocking foul was called on Starks, his second. 19 points now for the one-time New York Knick, Rod Strickland, product of the South Bronx. And then on to DePaul, drafted by the Knicks, played with San Antonio, now Portland in his second year with the Blazers. Bonner with the bobble and then the recovery.
It's like Bonner sent Oakley to the floor as they were both fighting for that ball.
Ewing had the pass knocked away. Reggie Smith, who just checked back in, batted it away. And here comes Derek Harper, replacing Brett Anthony. Derek played 11 minutes, and the first half took 1 shot, did not hit it. Oakley is pushed. Oakley shoved by Buck Williams on that inbounds play.
Charles did a good job getting to the ball for the inbounds pass, particularly when you get around a very good defensive player like Buck Williams.
Charles Oakley, who has been going at a good clip in the scoring column, not able to get into it tonight. 2 out of 5 from the field, 4 points, making his first appearance at the line. It's not a good breakdown for the Knicks, with Ewing and Starks combining for 47 of the Knicks' 60 points. That means the rest of the team has managed only 13. Knicks lead by 2. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the third. Marv Albert, John Andres, Al Troutwig, and Walt Clyde Frazier. Madison Square Garden.
Harper, taller than Greg Anthony now, will try and contain Strickland somewhat.
Reggie Smith, who has very little in terms of offensive moves, he was considered to be a project, a very good athlete, but basketball fundamentals subpar. And he'll come on for a few minutes a game. He's in there right now. Laser foul. It's called on Smith. Here's Herb Williams replacing Anthony Bonner. So one of those rare occurrences, which we have seen recently from time to time, where Herb Williams and Patrick Ewing are on the floor together. So Bonner sits down.
This is also a moment, Marv, where Pat Riley would love to see Derek Harper step into what's expected out of him. Charles Oakley had a nice finish.
Good pass from Ewing.
You know, the game kind of even now and winding down second half, and you hope Harper can come in and provide the leadership now that's expected.
Harper setting it up. Ewing played by Smith. Here's Harper. He's still looking for his first points as a Knick. Harper last night 0 for 3 from the field. Tonight he's 0 for 2. Cliff Robinson. He's been off 4 for 14. Harper going all the way, and he'll go to the line. Nice move by Derek Harper. He was fouled. Timeout is called with 2. Well, Derek Harper with a chance to score his first points as a New York Knick. Derek, a career 75% free throw shooter. And there it is. First point as a Knick.
Honest appreciation from many of the fans here, recognizing this big moment in Derek's career.
Harper hits 2 out of 2, and the Knicks now lead 65-58. 2:20 to go in the third quarter. Harper guarding Strickland.
Two-time all-league defender Derek Harper all over the place.
That's Murray. Tracy Murray, who just came on following the timeout, and he connects on his first field goal. The Knicks lead 65-60. Illegal defense called on Portland for the first time, so the Knicks get a new 24. Knicks led by 7 after 1, by 6 at halftime. They've led by as many as 12, and they have had the lead most of the way.
Harper signaling for Oakley to clear out the middle.
And Ewing called for the foul. That is his 4th. And now Ewing will sit down at odds regarding that call with Jess Kersey.
Seemed to be a very tight call.
Orlando Blackman is back. So the Knicks go to the 3 guards with Starks, Blackman, and Harper. Ewing and Starks accounting for 47 of the Knicks' 65 points. Cliff Robinson backing his way in. He has been way off. 4 for 15 for Robinson. Harper lost the dribble and then fortunate to recapture. Away from the ball, a foul is called as Oakley was shoved. Robinson picks it up, his second. Now check that as 3rd foul, and Portland goes over the limit. So Oakley to the line.
Charles doing a lot of banging, drawing attention. This very unexcitable coach. trying to figure out which way this game is going. Rick Adelman, one of those people who doesn't show emotion on the bench, but you know inside he's burning, as all coaches do.
Yeah, you have the feeling that depending on how the Blazers fare in the playoffs, we are seeing the last of this particular group. It's very difficult, obviously, with a salary cap to make drastic changes. And the way things have gone with injuries, some of the familiar Blazers have not been on the court recently. And that is a traveling violation that Rick Adelman did not appreciate. But you get the idea that there will be major moves made. Clyde Drexler has been the subject of trade speculation from time to time. I can see Terry Porter in that role also, particularly as Derek Harper comes up with his first Knicks field goal, particularly if James Robinson continues to make progress. Knicks lead by 8 with 45 seconds left in the quarter.
Derek just gave Rod Strickland a little of the treatment Rod's been giving.
And Smith is fouled. An 11-2 run by the Knicks. Herb Williams called for that personal.
Derek Harper taking that opening down the middle and filling it quickly. And Charles Oakley right on the case as well. And Derek thinking defense immediately after making that field goal.
All right, John, check out the free throw shooting style of this young man, Reggie Smith. 47% from the line. It's 10 for 22 at the foul line. Smith trying to follow it up and bats it out of bounds.
Well, he has someone he can work closely with when Chris Dudley comes off the injured list.
Oh!
Nice. They'll have a lot in common.
The old Johnny Hoops mean streak comes out here. All right, Harper for 3. And last touched by the Knicks.
Actually, I meant it sympathetically, Marv.
Yes, I'm sure. Well, this is a club that does need Chris Dudley on the floor because he brings rebounding and shot blocking and smart play to the Portland Trailblazers. There's Chris, who is out with a fractured left ankle, and the hope is he'll be back later this month. Portland holding for a final shot as this third quarter winds down. The Knicks have an 8-point lead. Strickland is trying to do it off the dribble. Here's Jaren Jackson. Three-point shot goes astray. Final seconds. Strickland intercepts. After 3 quarters, the Knicks lead by 8.
Bob Page with an update from Phoenix. Just before halftime, Danny Ainge will inbound to AC Green, and watch this. Green's got 17 points, 12 rebounds already. His desperation heave at the buzzer goes. The Suns lead the Warriors at intermission, 59-54.
All right, Bob. And the Phoenix Suns playing without Charles Oakley, who was placed on the injured list because of a thigh injury, so he will sit it out for 5 games. Phoenix 23-6 coming in. They've won their last 2. Golden State has won its last 2 games. Only 2 other games tonight in the NBA. Golden State, Phoenix, San Antonio, and the Lakers. And Murray is fouled by Blackman as this fourth quarter gets underway. The Knicks with a 68-60 lead on Portland. And they finished the third with an 11-2 run.
We are now seeing one of the talents that Derek Harper brings to the Knicks, and that is his ability to play full court defense, harassing Robinson, who finally got over half court, and then Murray shot a long bomb when he got his hands on it. One of the things, one of the problems with Portland over the years is that their lead players have always taken long shots, off-balance offensive shots, and it just spreads to the younger players as well.
Free throw shooting killing the Blazers, 9 of 18 from the line. Herb Williams operating against Buck Williams. Rebounded by Mark Bryant. James Robinson guarded by Derek Harper. Jaron Jackson being played by John Starks. Bryant with the fake. Nice move. The Knicks now lead 68-62. Mark Bryant out of South Orange, New Jersey. Played his college ball at Seton Hall. Blackman. Poor shot. He had Murray all over him. Bryant posting up. Goes to the spin.
Bryant dishing out a lot of punishment with his big body to Charles Oakley.
Mark Bryant came out strong at the end of last season and in the playoffs.
One of the hopes is Derek Harper's presence will help Rolando Blackman and get him the ball where he likes to receive it. They played together for so long in Dallas.
Starks. That's a two-point shot. He stepped on the line. The Knicks now lead 70-62. 26 points for John Starks. Harper all over Robinson. And deflects it away.
He is a relentless, tenacious defender.
Fits right in with what Pat Riley wants to do defensively. Very annoying guy to play against. Jackson, foul. Kurt Williams thought he had all ball, but he got a piece of Jaron Jackson.
Jackson penetrating in and Herb coming out to help out. Herb playing very lively this evening for the Knicks. You know, Marv, one of the interesting byproducts of the Harper trade to the Knicks was the apparent disappointment of the Chicago Bulls players, who have made it clear and have been quite outspoken that they need a player in the backcourt of high quality, with John Paxson out, although ready to come back soon. And Scottie Pippen in particular quite outspoken and disappointed that they haven't gotten someone of Derek Harper's ability.
Reportedly, the Bulls did not want to give up a #1 draft pick. Harper is fouled. Nice change of pace dribble by Derek. And he'll go back to the line, and he is slowly getting into the flow. Bryant called for the foul. Here's Rod Strickland returning, replacing Jaron Jackson, who leads with 7 points. Did a nice job. Jaron Jackson out of Georgetown. So Derek Harper back to the line. He is now 2 of 3 from the foul line.
One of the interesting points that Derek Harper made when coming to the Knicks is that he loves the excitement. He loves to be under the lights, and even pointed out how years ago when CBS was covering the NBA, he used to love when they'd come to Dallas and light the place up, and the whole country would be seeing the Dallas Mavericks in action. And he missed that excitement because it certainly hasn't been like that in years for Derek.
Although there were not too many appearances on CBS either. But they did have a couple of years of a pretty good run in Dallas, building off those #1 draft picks. Harper for Oakley, and a foul. Nice pass. Good setup from Derek Harper.
See his face when he came out of that pass with a big smile. Oh, that was beautifully thrown. Harper looking for Oakley. Gives it to him perfectly.
Foul committed by Bryant, his 3rd. Charles Oakley, 3 out of 4 from the foul line.
When Harper came into the lineup, there was about a 1-point spread between the Knicks and Portland. The Knicks are stretching it out a bit now.
Anthony Mason sitting out once again after re-aggravating that sprained left ankle. Anthony sitting out now the last 5 games. The Knicks 72 and Portland 63. Foul call, holding foul on Harper. That is his 3rd. Patrick Ewing to the scorer's table and will come on, replacing Rolando Blackman, who has not had the touch tonight, 1 out of 5 from the field. So the Knicks back to a conventional lineup with Ewing, Williams, and Oakley up front, and Starks and Harper at the guards.
You know, Pat Riley's weighing Harper's minutes now. He doesn't want Greg Anthony to think he's been forgotten.
Shot clock at 5. Here's Bryant. Mark Bryant does have the good outside touch. Doesn't have the post-game role. Ewing, yes. Oh, Patrick Ewing off the bench and able to hit the side angle jump shot. He has 25 points. Ewing is playing with 4 fouls. The Knicks lead 74-65. Cliff Robinson will go to the line. Fouled by Charles Oakley.
Rolando Blackman leaving the floor just now, going back to the bench, being greeted by his teammates. And a special high five from Doc Rivers. I think Doc gave up his seat at the end of the bench, or rather Anthony Mason did, so Doc could rest comfortably.
Cliff Robinson, 2 of 7 from the line now, and 4 of 15 from the field. He has had a long night. Portland has had a terrible time of it at the foul line. 11 for 23. 4 minutes gone by in the 4th quarter.
Oakley thirsting for the ball, wide open.
Ewing, yes. Beautifully done, and Patrick Ewing thanking Derek Harper. The Knicks lead by 10. Here's James Robinson. Herb Williams with the rebound.
Portland with no inside game to speak of is really living off jump shooting now, and that's why it's a 10-point Knicks lead.
Williams.
All you can ask for, short jumpers like that.
Rod Strickland very close to carrying the ball when he's on the move.
You're Harper, you're very happy when Strickland gives the ball up.
Harper with the steal, leading Starks. Starks, Oakley. And the Knicks lead 78-66. Portland wants to talk it over.
Compliments of our Delta Airlines schedule. We'll tell you the Knicks are going to be home on Tuesday to the Clippers. Thursday out at Detroit, where the Pistons have lost 9 straight at home. And then Saturday afternoon back here for a 1 o'clock game. Harper with the hands up, getting that ball, faking his way up court and throwing that beautiful lead pass to John Starks. Misses it. But thankfully there was someone following him in for that shot. Harper with a big play. That really showed what Derek Harper can do, I think, for the first time.
The Knicks lead 78-66. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Strickland. Loose ball foul. It's on the Blazers. So the Knicks will take over. Buck Williams charged with his 4th foul.
Combination, which, as you pointed out before, Marv, doesn't happen very often, of Herb Williams and Patrick Ewing is really locking the backboard situation along with Oakley up for the Knicks. They're controlling both ends of the court underneath, and that's shutting out the Blazers around the hoop.
Yes, the Knicks with a decisive edge off the boards. 38-29. Starks knocks it away. Oakley bats it to the front court. What a play by Oakley, and Starks puts it away. Oh, Charles Oakley with a sensational play.
The Knicks big men always come out to double team the guard, and boy, did it work then.
Knicks by 14. Cliff Robinson. A rare sight here tonight. Cliff Robinson hitting a jump shot. He's 6 for 17 from the field. 5:50 to go in the fourth. Ewing on the run.
Starks to Ewing. That's their special play. Once a game we see it.
29 for Patrick Ewing. Buck Williams got squeezed on that move.
Take a look at this defensive play. Oakley out to help, swiping with Starks, who sets it free. Then Oakley recovers and sends it forward to John Starks. What a play. Followed by the great timing that Starks and Ewing have, where it looks like Ewing will come out to receive. Starks passes him up, and then Ewing heads to the hoop.
Herb Williams called for the foul, putting Buck Williams on the line. Buck only a 68% free throw shooter. And a foul on Bryant. Loose ball foul. That is his fourth. So the Blazers with their fourth team foul. Knicks already over the limit. 5.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. It's been a strong game for the Knicks against the injury hit Portland Trailblazers. Starks, yes. 30 points for Starks. The Knicks lead by 15. James Robinson. Robinson has 13. Call James Hollywood out of Jackson, Mississippi. First-round draft pick by way of Alabama. Ewing playing the pass on the deflection, and he drew the foul. And now Tracy Murray and Jaren Jackson check back in, replacing James Robinson and Mark Bryant. Robinson leads with 13 points. Bryant with 4. And Patrick Ewing to the line. He's 3 for 6 from the line.
One of the qualities, of a poor quality actually, that the Trailblazers are showing the Knicks tonight is the Knicks are allowed to receive passes in scoring position rather easily. And it shows you how difficult it is to build a real team defense where the younger and more experienced players are thinking alike. The Knicks have gotten so many open shots without an obstruction in front of them throughout the evening, with good ball movement, showing that the Blazers just are not in sync defensively.
And Cliff Robinson was fouled. The combination of Patrick Ewing and John Starks, 30 points apiece, and they have contributed 60 of the Knicks' 85 points. Herb Williams picks up his 5th foul, and Cliff Robinson, I would think, would prefer not being at the foul line. He's 2 of 8 at the line.
What's impressive about this game for the Knicks, Marv, is that it comes off a very tough game, not only physically last night in Charlotte, which has a kind of draining effect because of the environment down there, as Herb Williams gets a nice hand as he leaves after his plus contributions, but also a very any game back-to-back in 2 different environments is quite taxing, and the Knicks are playing with great energy here tonight.
They now lead 85-73. Nice ball movement. Patrick Ewing has 32. The Knicks 87, and the Trailblazers 73.
In fact, this game suggests Ewing and Starks in Charlotte last year. Ewing with 43 and Starks with 39.
Knicks shooting 55% from the field. Ewing, alley-oops, takes it back and hits. Oh, that's the play of the night. The lead from Harper. Ewing threw an alley-oop for Oakley, who tapped it back to him. And Buck Williams off the mark. Charles Oakley with the rebound. The Knicks by 16 with just under 4 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 64 of the 89 points scored by the combination of Ewing and Starks. Harper! So Derek Harper hits from the outside for the first time. As a Knick, he now has 7, and you can see getting very comfortable within the offense. The Knicks hear it from the crowd. A 17-7 run by the Knicks.
You don't want to give the big man the ball when he has to dribble, but it works out. Ewing to Oakley to Ewing. And Harper follows that with a jump shot. He has unfolded the Derek Harper effect here in the second half quite nicely.
The Knicks with a 91-73 lead. Down at a blistering pace here in the fourth quarter. Well, Darren Jackson with his 4th field goal. He has 9 points. So the Knicks with a 16-point bulge. We come up on 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and a foul called on the Blazers. Foul on Kevin Thompson, who just checked in following that timeout. He's a rookie from North Carolina State, a second-round draft pick. I don't think there are too many NBA fans who would recognize this particular group on the floor for the Portland Trailblazers. Kevin Thompson, Reggie Smith, Tracy Murray, Jaren Jackson, James Robinson.
Stick around, Marv. In years to come, you'll be wishing you had their cards.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, 2 weeks from tonight, the Blazers get a chance at home to deal with the Knicks.
Last touched by Oakley. Last season, they split their 2 games, Knicks winning here in New York, and Portland winning the game out in Portland, which is always a difficult place to play. Tracy Murray, the second-year man from UCLA. It's the Knicks 93 and Portland 77. Harper's pass deflected. Starks able to save it. Crowd urging Oakley to take the shot. Nice give and go. Oh, and a stop by Oakley.
Charles loved it. His teammates often kid him about the fact he never dunks, and he said, well, I'll get one soon, and he did tonight.
Foul called on Harper. Charles Oakley coming on in the second half. He now has 14 points, 12 rebounds.
Give and go basketball. Charles gives it up, and he goes and gets it back from Patrick. Basic basketball. It's so pretty to watch.
Substitutions by Pat Riley, which will bring on Eric Anderson, who has not seen any action over the last 10 games. Oakley hears it from the crowd. Another outstanding effort by Charles Oakley. Patrick Ewing sitting down with 36 points, 15 of 23 from the field. Herb Williams checking in with Gerald Patio, who made his Knick debut last night in Charlotte, played 4 minutes, hit his only shot. Foul was called on Eric Anderson. This is only his second game of the season. Second-year player from Indiana, who has been on and off the injured list as the Knicks juggle the roster. So Eric Anderson playing for the first time in 11 games.
Well, you know, Marv, the pacing of this game has gone much more in the direction of how Pat Riley would like to see it. Forget those 20-point leads early in the game. Knicks up by 6 at the quarter, up by 6 at the half, and then they've stretched it out here to a comfortable finale.
2:10 remaining, fourth quarter. Pat Riley leaving Derek Harper on the floor. Rolando Blackman. Harper has played the last 14 minutes. Jackson. Wild shot. Murray for 3. And Patio gets to it. Had it knocked away. Here's Smith. And And a 3-on-1 led by Harper. Try to deliver it to Blackman. Minute and a half remaining in this fourth quarter. Robinson making contact with Anderson and threw it away. So the Knicks will go to 21-9 as they bounce back from the loss in Charlotte last night. And the Clippers coming up here on Tuesday. And of most significance, Derek Harper was able to get the playing time and is looking more and more comfortable. Blackman turning it over, stepped out. While the Blazers delighted to make their way back to the West Coast following this 4-game road trip. They will lose 3 out of the 4. Thompson gets inside, rebounded by Williams.
Well, you know, Marv, it is significant, and much to my surprise, Pat Riley did not come back with Greg Anthony.
And Anderson was fouled. Crowd wants Anderson to shoot. Well, I think Pat is approaching this with the Knicks in front by the sizable margin, approaching it as if it's a scrimmage, and he's just looking to get Derek Harper feeling comfortable with the Knicks offense. Eric Anderson is now 0 for 3 on the line this season. Whoa, a high arcing free throw. The Knicks lead 97-78. Murray for 3, fouled by Patio.
But you know, Marv, what Pat is going to be queried about immediately is Greg going to continue starting. You know, that routine is going to start now. And Pat's obviously ready for it and willing to deal with it. They wanted Derek Harper. They got him. And in game 2, he made a lot of people smile on that Knick bench.
I don't see it right away. I see it eventually. I don't see it for Tuesday. But you're right. I think the questions will begin to come in that direction.
Nice that Harper made it very clear, too, that when he arrived in Charlotte yesterday, he spent more time with Greg Anthony than he did with any of his other teammates, because he wanted Greg to know where he stood. He's here to help make the team better, not to take his job away.
Herb Williams gets the roll, and that is his first field goal. 99-79 Knicks. James Robinson. And it counts, plus the foul on Williams. Reggie Smith with the basket, and he'll go to the line with 20 seconds left. So Herb Williams fouls out, leaves with 6 rebounds and a field goal for 2 points, and Anthony Bonner will come on for these final 20 seconds. Three-point play for Reggie Smith. The Knicks 99 and Portland 82. Knicks have led virtually all the way, leading by as many as 20. They double up on Harper. Patio with the open shot. Whoa, look out. Murray for the reverse. The basket counts, and again the foul. Charged to Gerald Patio with 3 seconds remaining in the game. And John, a good portion of the crowd stayed around for these final seconds, although it turned into a blowout.
Boy, it turned positive just at the right time as well. In the fourth quarter, the Knicks just beat the Blazers down. Beat the Blazers out of the Blazers, more.
Very good. 99-85 to score. And that will do it. So Patrick Ewing with 36. John Starks with 30. Strong game for the Knicks. Certainly Portland, an injury-hit team with Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, and Chris Dudley out. Of course, the Knicks have had more than their share of injuries, and the Knicks had their problems last night against the injury-plagued Charlotte Hornets. A very strong performance by the New York Knicks. The final, the Knicks 99, the Blazers 85.
You'd be so nice.
Tonight, it was the time of the game when they completely took it over from the Portland Trailblazers, who actually led the Knicks 58-57 several minutes into the third quarter. The Knicks then put a run together, and through the fourth quarter, which was played totally by Derek Harper, totally dominated the game. Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley both left to standing ovations. John Starks got a shooting touch working. He was 11 of 18 for 30 points. Derek Harper has to be pinching himself for what he has walked into here in New York. Now the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle Dealers scoring summary. They both had 30 or more. Patrick Ewing with 36 to go with 6 rebounds. He shot 15 of 23. Starks for 30 points. I gave you his shooting numbers. He was also 5 of 6 from the line. Charles Oakley, 14 points, 12 rebounds, another double-double for the most consistent Knick. Derek Harper, 7 points. He ran a very smooth show in the fourth quarter. Rolando Blackman with 4, Greg Anthony with 4 as well. As for the Portland Trailblazers, they were led by Rod Strickland, who only had 5 in the second half. Strickland finishing with 19 points. Cliff Robinson took some amazingly strange shots, 5 of 17 from the floor, and that was really the important scoring story for the Portland Trailblazers. I mentioned that the New York Knicks heard many standing ovations tonight. Charles Oakley left, and Charles, there's no doubt about it, no matter how you put up your numbers, even if you just play with the effort, the fans here are noticing in a big way.
Well, I'm really just trying to come out every night and play hard. You know, we're shorthanded, so I'm just trying to do the extra thing. You know, I don't have to score a lot of points. Just try to play tough defense and rebound.
Now, you talk about hustle and you talk about hitting the floor, which you do so often. How about this play? I mean, are you thinking about tapping this ball ahead to John Starks?
I know John, we was helping out. I knew, you know, I just kept going at it, and all I wanted him to do is keep going down court, because they had stopped, you know, everybody else had stopped and watched the play. So if John would have kept going like he did, he got easy too.
Now, frequently when you get the ball in great position, which you get by rebounding or just moving without the ball, you don't dunk, but you did here.
Well, you know, they've been telling me I need to dunk more, so that's one of my...
You're giving in?
New Year resolution. I'm going to try to start dunking more. You know, I don't really think about dunking. I just try to get easy too, but I'm going to try to start putting force behind my layups.
Well, teams always debate whether it's good to play the next night after a loss, especially on the road, but the team has to feel great that they had a chance to get rid of last night's memory in less than 24 hours.
Well, it was tough last night. We came out really emotional. You know, we just had played them like 3 or 4 days ago. They beat us, and we wanted to come back and beat them on their home court, but we just, it seemed like the fourth quarter, we gave out the gas, and whatever happened, they got the win. And I'm glad we came back tonight and forgot about last night and got the big win tonight.
Great ball movement, tremendous confidence on the offense. Derek Harper fitting in perfectly in the fourth quarter. Talk to me about the confidence this team had with the ball.
Well, you know, Derek can do a lot with the ball. He can penetrate. You know, he looked at dishes. You know, Patrick and John really had it going tonight, roll. And I just, you know, kept playing, and I was going to be the ball mover. That's what I try to do every night, move the ball, but some nights I get the shots. Tonight, you know, I had a shot, but, you know, I was trying to make sure, you know, other guys get a shot. As long as I keep hitting the boards and do the defense and make this team better, that's what I'm trying to do every night.
I don't know if you knew this or not, but coming into tonight's game, the Blazers had only been out-rebounded in games 3 times this season. You hear something like that before the game, I got to figure that Charles Oakley gets excited to out-rebound them.
Well, we knew they was the #1 rebound team, offense, defense in the league, and we was #2 defensive. So, you know, we wanted to step it up. They got a lot of guys with a lot of athletic ability that can do a lot. So we just wanted to play tough defense and just don't let them roam on the floor like they would like to. And Rod Strickland had a good game, but we shut the other guys down pretty well.
5 of 6, well, now 4 of 5 here at Madison Square Garden in the next stretch. What are the kind of things that you think the Knicks want to accomplish in that time?
Well, get back our defensive attention, really play hard and get, you know, Derek Harper into things, you know, get his game, you know, everybody else's game, and, you know, just coming out playing as a team and trying to let him, you know, get all the plays down, him and Greg, you know, whoever out there, just, you know, run the team, you know, like point guard should.
Oak, thanks for coming out of the locker room. Congratulations.
All right, no problem.
Charles Oakley, another double-double tonight, part of a multifaceted Knick attack that took over this game in the fourth quarter. Guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy anything just about anywhere. Gift checks are available where American Express traveler's checks are sold, and some also receive Bulova timepieces. Bulova make every minute count with timeless elegance and precision design. The Marine Star Collection from Bulova. We're in our post-game mode talking about a Knick 99-85 victory. Charles Oakley, a big part of their success tonight.
Who played the national anthem before the first game ever at...
Back at the Garden, where tonight the Portland Trailblazers shot 15 of 33 from the free throw line. 15 of 33. It would have been a different game had they hit a few more. 99-85, the final at the Garden tonight. And you really have to talk about the offense tonight, dominated, which it usually is, by Patrick Ewing and John Starks. But 67% of the offense, Ewing with 36 points, John Starks with 30. They have been determined to be the co-players of the game. John Starks, 11 of 18. He hit 6 of his first 8 shots tonight at Madison Square Garden. And you can tell that early on he was feeling the touch. And this is, as John Andres said, the play they work at least once a game, the pick and roll, which usually catches the defense unaware. Ewing with the easy dunk, 2 of his 36. He is also a member of the NatWest Bank's player of the game contingent. Ewing and Starks tonight. Ewing 15 of 23 shooting with 6 rebounds. We will continue at Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks have beaten the Portland Trailblazers 99-85.
From Gillette comes a...
Forget about what happened last night in Charlotte because of what happened tonight at Madison Square Garden. They win by 14. Here's Pat Riley moments ago.
What was that? I didn't...
He had like 3 assists.
Oh, he had 3? That gave him his third? He had 7? He was 7. He probably had 12. He's just playing very, very well. You know, he's every night it's the same effort. And, you know, if we could get everybody on the same page from the standpoint of effort and playing their role as he does his, we would not be this inconsistent.
It's got to feel real good. Granted, they might be at the end of a road trip and tired, but you guys must have scored on 16 of 18 trips in one spin in the fourth quarter. You got almost any shot you wanted in the offense?
Well, you know, when we're not random and sort of reckless, and I know there are times it looks like there's an opportunity to run out or try to get something quick in the offense. If we can just take charge, especially here at home, and run something and execute, with guys making, you know, or setting picks for John or whatever, a good pick and roll game, we're going to get good shots. And sometimes we get carried away with the shot selection and the random offense. We're not very good at it. And I think tonight we did a much better job of that.
How long do you think it's going to be before Derek gets comfortable?
He's still running the Maverick offense. That's the problem. Not really, but, you know, he's been overloaded in the last 2 days. But he's going to have to spend a lot of time. I've never in my career really, as a coach, I've ever had made a trade in the middle of the year where we're going to bring somebody in to play significant minutes, especially somebody at that position, you know, that has to think and know everything and all the nuances of, you know, we got about a half a dozen, you know, plays that we run in neat situations that, you know, they just know, and it's going to take a lot of time for that to happen. So I would say 2 weeks, 3 weeks before he really feels real comfortable with everything we're doing offensively and defensively. So we're trying to keep it very simple for him, but, you know, he's got a lot of savvy. He'll pick it up. It's going to take time.
Is he getting by on energy and enthusiasm?
Yeah, he's... It's strange, you know. I talked to him last night, and it's just strange, you know, 11 years in one city, and, you know, in 24 hours, you know, he's in a Knick locker room with a Knick jersey on, and, you know, a whole new team, a whole different, you know, set of, you know, guys. And, so, you know, once that wears off and there's a sense of normalcy, that it's for real and forever, then I think it's going to be easy for him. But he is playing on a lot of nervous energy. Okay.
Is there a concerned effort that you put him on the floor with Rolando, considering all the years?
Not really. You know, I mean, if there's anybody that knows Roe better, you know, it would be Derek. So, I mean, that is a good combination because they do have a game that they played together for a long time. So, plus it might bring out the best in each guy.
Why did you stay with him as long as you did?
I just want to get him, you know, the game was getting away, so I want to give him as much playing time and court time as we can. Yeah.
Given their lack of relative defensive strength as opposed to you designed to have Patrick go?
No, that's our game, whether they're small or big. You know, Cliff Robinson, even though Patrick got 36, I thought he did a decent job. You know, we just kept going and going and going, and you know, part of their strategy is to always try to strip Patrick, reach in, and get somebody to come down. And I think Patrick picked up on that after the second time in that post, just how quick he is, you know, with his hands. But it really should be a mismatch, you know. I mean, he's a great defensive player, but he doesn't have the size or the strength, if we're really posting deep and strong and reposting on double teams, he should be able to get any shot that he wanted. And he pretty much did.
The Coaches Conference is brought to you by Saturn. A different kind of company, a different kind of car, a different kind of coach. Coming up next on MSG when we wrap up our post-game coverage here, Bob Page with the newest edition of Page One. Well, the NFL certainly looked great this weekend, but overall some questions, and the state of the NFL is tonight's topic. Back live courtside, Al Trowick joined by Michael Kay, emerging from the Portland Trailblazers locker room. What's on their minds?
I'll tell you, they were all very complimentary of the Knicks, and the big topic of discussion was Derek Harper. Rick Adelman said, and I thought it was a pretty good point, he said, when Doc Rivers went down, I felt that they really came back to the pack and that they would be one of 6 teams in the East. He said, but with Derek Harper brings them once again to be the team that's going to come out of the East and play in the finals. So I thought that was pretty strong words.
No, they are, but was this the direction of the conversation that was steered by someone, or is this the kind of thing that they just felt like talking about?
I steered it that way.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, what are you talking about? A team that's, I mean, it just